We've all been through training in our jobs before, but how did the organization decide that training was needed in the first place? In this video, we're going to briefly discuss how organizations decide what their learning needs are and whether those needs can be met through training. The process of systematically evaluating these needs is called needs assessment, or sometimes needs analysis. Before getting into needs assessment, let's step back and look at the training as a three-phase process. In the first phase, the assessment phase, we take stock of what our organization's needs are that might be met through training. This will be the focus of the rest of the video. After we've determined our needs, we then move on to the implementation phase. Here, we develop our training program, or possibly choose a pre-existing one depending on our needs, and we actually deliver the training. Finally, we want to evaluate our program to ensure that it met our objectives. See the other video for a discussion on how to evaluate training success. Based on what we learn, we may then return to the implementation phase to improve our program for the future. Now I should note that this is a prescriptive model. In other words, it says what should happen in organizations. Sadly, most of the time, companies only focus on the actual delivery of training. In other words, training is often neither well planned nor properly evaluated for quality. So let's take a look at the assessment phase. Deciding where our training needs are can happen at three levels. At the highest level is organizational analysis, which refers to looking at the organization's goals and determining whether training is part of the plan for achieving those goals. Upper-level management usually decides what those goals are based on observed problems or strategic plans. The goal here is to align training efforts with the overarching set of objectives for that organization. Forward-thinking organizations will also ensure that there's adequate support for the training, such as resources to make up for the employee's time away from the job while they're being trained, and supervisor support for employees to practice what they've learned in training. At the second level is task and KSAO analysis. Based on information about major tasks and responsibilities, as well as important KSAOs, we can decide which of these things we wouldn't expect new employees to have when they start working for us. This might include working with job-specific pieces of equipment, or knowing company policies and procedures. We can then move forward with the development of a training program to get them up to speed on these tasks, or to provide them with these KSAOs. This may sound familiar to you. It might sound a lot like job analysis, and yes, job analysis would be a perfect source of this kind of information. And note that task and KSAO analysis identifies training that everyone in a particular position will need. It's not focused on an individual person. For that, we go to the third level, which is person analysis. As the name implies, person analysis focuses on what training needs particular employees might have. This type of analysis probably comes from some form of performance appraisal. During that process, deficiencies may be uncovered, and that employee may be sent to training to bring him or her up to a satisfactory level. But person analysis doesn't always have a remedial flavor to it. It could be based on other needs. For example, a work group may need to have an expert on a particular topic, and sending one member of the group to training may accomplish this. Also, training can often be used to groom someone for a future promotion to a higher level job. Finally, once the needs assessment has been conducted, the behavioral objectives of the training program should be specified. These objectives state what the desired outcome of the training is in terms of employee behavior. In other words, what should employees who go through the training be able to do now that they've gone through the training that they couldn't do before? So, for example, if a retail company is training employees to use a new cash register system, they might have the following behavioral objectives for the training program. First, be able to process cash, credit, or check transactions, be able to do this at a 95% accuracy rate, and use proper voiding procedures in case of an error. Whatever the behavioral objectives are, stating them clearly and in advance will help you to choose and design an appropriate training program. It'll also help you be clear with the trainees about what they will be able to do once they complete the program. It will allow you to properly evaluate the success of the program, since you've already specified what trainees should be able to do, and finally, it'll help you better sell your plan to management. That's it for this video on training needs assessment. Thanks for watching.